Is it working? Oh, it's turned on. Very cool. I hope the audio quality is good. All right, hey guys, how you doing? A few of you requested kind of some basic sales training, and I've been doing that for a while. A little bit of a background about myself. I was a sales trainer about 3 years. It was B2B sales doing cold calling, so door to door, 100% commission, mostly college grads. I trained, recruited them, and taught them how to do sales. Suit and tie every day, no vacations, no holidays. That was the kind of thing I was doing at that time. It's been a while, but once you do that much, it really becomes like riding a bike. So I'm going to give you the basic system that anybody can use, assuming they can walk, and in that case, they can talk, right? Or vice versa. Any system they can use in order to, I don't know, I should look at the webcam, I guess so. Any system they can use in order to do sales, really. It's just the basic foundational principles, right? So this is like the foundation, this is the house, and then as the sales reps, the VAs, as they go out and they do sales, you're going to have to coach them, right? You have to teach them different things, and sales can become a little bit tricky because to people who don't know how to do it or don't have a lot of experience doing it, it seems like a forbidden art, right? It seems like something esoteric or not able to be broken down. It seems like kind of a mystery. People who know how to do it, it's very easy and very simple. So without further ado, I want to get right into the method, into the system. And when you have your VAs, and if you want to coach them, you can say what they're doing and relate it to what part of the system they're not doing. So that's how you'd coach, right? Based on this system. So that's, Kevin, that was like the main point that you had. So I wanted to give that to you right in the beginning. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. So what we're going to talk about today, and this program is pretty good, but the typing is a little bit small, but I'll share the link for this so you can see it directly. What we're talking about today is impulse sales, right? So impulse sales, that's when somebody goes into a clothing store, department store, right? And they're walking around and the person impulses them to buy something right there on the spot. So it's an impulse sale is what I was doing, right? So impulse can be defined as the customer's interest in purchasing or their desire to buy. Higher the impulse, the higher their desire to buy. Lower the impulse, the lower their desire to buy. Very straightforward. So what we have are the 4's, the 5's, and the 8's. I'm going to write these down and then we're going to get into them. It's the 4's, the 5's, and the 8's, right? So we have the 4 factors of impulse. We have the 5 steps to a great conversation, and we have the 8 great work habits. All right. Now, the main bulk of this and the most important thing are going to be the 5 steps to a great conversation. The 4 factors of impulse are kind of little things you sprinkle on top to add more and more impulse. And then the 8 great work habits are just work habits that anybody should have if they're going to be a manager or if they're going to be an expert in any field, right? They're going to have these 8 great work habits in order to be successful in that field. So let's begin. What we have here is the impulse curve. Now, it's my first time using this virtual whiteboard program, so bear with me. So you notice I drew a little bit of a curve here, right? Okay, now, right here is going to be step 1, which is the introduction. Now, the most important thing during the introduction are C factors and icebreakers. Now, the introduction, you notice this line here is going to be the customer's impulse, right? So as their impulse goes up, This is going to be their flat line here, where they are just on how impulse they kind of are running their business, or in this case, as a consumer. This is B2C usually, right? And this is going to be the buy or buy line, right? So if you close with the customer above this line, they're going to buy. If you go below this line, try to close, they're going to say goodbye, right? Now, you'll notice the customer's impulse actually decreased as soon as I made my introduction. And that's generally because of their skepticism, right? Right off the back, let's say I walk into a business, or I knock on somebody's front door, or I call somebody, coldly, they're going to have some natural skepticism. They're going to be a little bit unimpulsed to talk to me, right? So what I'm going to use in order to overcome that first objection, or that first kind of hurdle, is going to be C factors and icebreakers. Now, C factors is an acronym. It stands for smile, eye contact, enthusiasm. Now, in this case, we only have, the people on the phone. They definitely can smile while they talk, for sure. Eye contact, they can't really do, because it's on the virtual, side, unless they do a video calls. In which case, I think you look at webcam. I don't know. It's my first time recording these things. Enthusiasm is going to be just excited, right? They're ready to sell, and they're ready to talk to you about this product, right? They're happy to be there, and they want to be on the phone. They're not doing it as a chore, right? They're enthusiastic and they're excited. And icebreaker is going to be something just to break the ice, right? It could be anything. How are you doing today? Where are you from? How's your day been? Normally if I walk into like a restaurant or something with a, food smell, oh, that smells great. What do you guys cook on the menu? Anything to kind of break the ice a little bit, and just that initial wall just kind of melts as you use these icebreakers, right? Now, what you want to do as a second step, so this is going to be step 1, introduction. You'll notice the customer's impulse will raise a little bit, right? And then right about here, you're going to want to go into step 2. Step 2 is going to be short story. Okay. Now, short story is comprised of 2 main characteristics. The first thing is it's used to reduce skepticism. I hope that's how you spell skepticism. And also build rapport. Okay. Now, the customer is going to be naturally skeptical, right? So I want to reduce their skepticism before I even introduce why I'm there. And this doesn't have to be long, right? It could be anywhere from 1 minute to 10 minutes to 20 minutes, depending upon the size of the sale, right? Generally, if you're selling a helicopter, you have to build a lot of rapport. If you're selling a shirt, maybe you don't need too much rapport, right? You could just kind of make 1 or 2 comments. But what you want to do is definitely have some conversation prior to going into the close, right? Or prior to even recommending your product. You want to have some natural rapport built with that customer. And that could be anywhere from talking about that picture on their desk that related to a trip they took last year. You've also been to Barbados. It could be really anything about what they did and how you can relate to them on that topic. Anything you can do to build rapport is going to naturally reduce their skepticism. You can use the phrases, birds of a feather flock together. People who are like each other tend to like each other, right? Simple as that. Okay, so step 2 is going to build the customer's impulse a little bit more, and then we're going to go all the way up into step 3. Now, this is going to be where we start to actually talk about the product a little bit, and this is going to be the presentation. Now, during the presentation, the main 2 things we're talking about here is sizzle the deal and take control. And you'll see take control is probably one of the most important things. Take control / paint a clear picture. Now, looks like I have 25 seconds left on this free app, so I'm going to cancel, or at least finish this recording and then start a new one for the part 2. Just hang tight, guys.